Across the country, classrooms are in crisis. Students are showing up ready to learn, but their schools don't even have funding for even the most basic supplies. On Donors Choose, you can change that. Donate now at donorschoose.org/local.
Whether you're gifting, decorating, or treating yourself, Lowe's December deal drops are here to help you save more all month long. Get up to 50% off select holiday decor. Plus, get up to 45% off select tools and accessories. Shop new December deal drops every week this month and get so much more out of your holidays. Lowe's, we help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
GoLoud.
The 5 main pillars of health are diet, sleep, exercise, checking yourself, and orgasms. Your vulva's a snowflake. Yours isn't the same as hers, isn't the same as mine.
Oh, I like describing it like a snowflake. My little fairy fanny.
Young girls think that it's totally normal to be choking on someoe's penis.
Yeah.
And it's not normal, okay?
It's not.
I don't think that's
yourself.
a red flag. I think that's just someone's personality.
That's just his thing.
That could be my husband.
Hello and welcome to Hold My Drink.
Hi guys.
So today we've got a very exciting episode.
Really interested.
We're only over 200 episodes in.
Yeah.
And we've been saying this for the whole time, that we have to get someone who's an expert in women's health.
Yeah.
Women's...
Just think
our part.
vaginas.
Think vaginas, think libido, think the bush,
Everything.
etc. This is, I think, one of our favourite episodes that we've
Yeah.
done. Today we're joined by the woman who has Ireland talking openly about everything from periods to bushes to pelvic floors.
Known as the Fabulous Pharmacist on Instagram, Laura Dowling is a leading women's health advocate and has just released her new book, Love Your Vulva.
Love the name. Looks so good. Not only is she totally science backed, but also absolutely hilarious. We can't wait to chat to her and for her to teach us about our lady bits.
She also had Cher was calling it a teddy.
A teddy.
What did she call it? Saoirse.
Saoirse the vulva.
Yeah.
It was like a soft toy version of a vagina, but guys, enjoy because we definitely did.
Enjoy.
Laura, you're very welcome to Hold My Drink.
I'm so excited.
We're so excited.
This is going to be a good one.
I feel we should have drinks with us.
I know, and it's Friday as well. We usually record on a Monday.
It's too early in the morning for drinks.
It's too... No, I'm excited. So you're known online as the Fabulous Pharmacist. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into doing what you do, because it is so interesting.
So I worked in the pharmacy for 21 years, but during my time in the pharmacy, I just saw women coming in not knowing what was wrong with them, not knowing how to name their body parts.
Wow.
And girls like you, I suppose, self-treating for thrush all the time, and it wasn't thrush, it could have been a dermatitis. So I saw that, and I discovered stories on Instagram pretty late in the day, in and around just before COVID. Prior to that, I was posting on Facebook, like a picture of a Caniston cream and saying, this is how you treat thrush. It was really, it was so non-engaged. I probably had 300 followers. But then COVID hit, and the women that were coming into me all the time, because I developed a little bit of a reputation in the area, because I was working there for 17 years in the same area, as the pharmacist to go to if you have any vaginal issues or menopause issues or just female issues in general. And so I started just posting videos online, posting stories on Instagram just before COVID, and then I really ramped them up during COVID because my patients and customers couldn't come into me. So I started talking about the stuff that I talk about to them, and then they just shared it with their friends, and it kind of just went like really organically. Overnight, more or less.
Really?
It was it was
But that's
mental.
so good that you have that, you built up a reputation of
In the area.
Yeah, of
Fanny
women.
whisperer.
the fanny whisperer, but of women being able to say, come here, go to Laura if you need to talk about something, because I know they're obviously, I still even feel like there is that little bit stigma of not embarrassment, but it's just if you go into a pharmacy, you don't want to go in, hiya, my fanny's reefing, I have thrush, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're always kind of whispering behind the
Yeah.
counter.
You're like, can I get
But
that?
that's
Even people coming in for the morning after pill, they'd be embarrassed to ask for it. And I would have a lot of older women that would have come in their 40s looking for it, and they're embarrassed asking for it. And
I've
it's
never not felt embarrassed getting that.
good.
No, I have always felt embarrassed.
you've always felt
I've
embarrassed?
never not felt embarrassed. Yeah.
I remember before I did pharmacy going
Yeah.
into the chemist for the pill, and I was embarrassed asking, and sometimes I wouldn't have my prescription, so I'd be asking for an emergency supply. And I would have felt ashamed,
Mortified,
like, oh my
yeah.
goodness, he knows I'm having sex.
Yeah.
And it's just
Why are we like that?
outrageous. I think it's Catholic Ireland. I
Is
think
that
it's
what it
it's
is?
conditioning about the fact that we were never encouraged to talk about our vaginas or our vulvas in a really proactive way. They're only ever about sex or childbirth, and even at that, it's like hidden, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it all stems from that, and the Catholic religion didn't really help us either.
Yeah.
But you know, I think we're changing. We are.
Yeah. Do you think
Definitely.
other countries, have they got like better education around like what each part is called, and like why don't we know
I think
enough?
it depends.
Yeah.
I think, you know, America and North America are still quite behind. They'd be very like us. Well, there's a lot of, you know, fundamental religious people over there as well. So sex would be, you know, they talk about abstinence and everything over there, which fair enough if you can abstain, but many people can't, you know. France is great. So you'll see a gynecologist when you get your first period in France. Really? Yeah, whereas over here you go to your GP. The GPs are brilliant over here, but you don't see a gynecologist until you get pregnant usually, or unless you have an issue.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen a gynecologist.
I've never, no.
I wouldn't even know who to ring or like.
It's interesting, isn't it? And then after a woman has a baby in France, she's entitled to 6 months of free physiotherapy care for her vagina alone, like her pelvic region. Whereas over here, it's like unless you get a 4th degree tear, which is literally rip right round from your vagina to your anus, you won't see someone unless you pay privately. Yeah. So in France, they take their vaginas really seriously.
Oh my God.
And they love sex and they're open about sex and they
all
don't
the
get,
European
there's no
countries,
shame.
I feel like,
So it is interesting, but it'd be
Yeah.
great if Ireland could kind of step away from that. I think we are, but I think there's still a whole lot more to go.
Yeah, we're moving in the right direction,
We are,
but
yeah.
it'll take time, I think.
But I'm surprised even girls your age now would be embarrassed about that.
Yeah.
You know, about the more
I
natural
don't know
and
what
stuff.
it is.
It's terrible.
And it's not even like, I don't even feel like anyone's judging me, but like when I have gone together, I'm just like, I think it's just that they know and they're like, when have you had sex? And you're like,
you don't want to
yesterday,
tell them.
and it's like, oh.
And I've definitely done the probably illegal thing and I've sent someone else in to get it for me.
I thought they make you take it on the spot.
We know you
I've
do
always
that.
had to take it on the spot.
Oh,
Have
no.
you?
Yeah.
Sent the friend in.
Oh no.
They obviously don't believe me or something and they just think I'm the friend.
You take it now.
I'm like, imagine I was
Are
the
you
friend.
serious? You've been actually told you have to take
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Oh god.
That's a bit
That
intense,
isn't really in
Yeah,
the
the little,
remit.
you get like a tongue dip of water in a cup and you're like, and it's getting stuck in your throat and all like, and you're in that little room. I just think the whole, I don't know.
I think
that
it's
isn't
the way they
actually
do it.
that isn't actually something that is forced. I don't think that is normal.
They can't do that.
God.
can they?
You're supposed to just give the person the
Give it,
product.
yeah.
And
Oh.
now your boyfriend or the male partner couldn't come in on your behalf.
Okay.
We have to talk to the female.
Yeah.
But you know, I do know people do send their friends.
Send a friend. Yeah. Was there anything in particular that you've seen or like that made you want to write the book on women's health?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Love Your Vulva stemmed from me doing women's talks around the country. So because of the Instagram, I got asked to do a series of talks and I did the talks. And so the talks were just, Laura, just would you talk about something to do with women's health? And I was like, geez, how long's a piece of string? So when I was driving to the first talk, I remember going, I'm going to talk about sex and really make them listen to me, because if I just talk about diet and sleep, that's so boring. And everyone knows what you should eat and everyone knows you should sleep, but fuck me. So I went on stage, and this is the first time I'd ever done like a big corporate talk, and there was about 400 women in the audience, and I said, so hi, I'm Laura, I'm a pharmacist, and I've been a pharmacist for nearly 20 years. And the 5 main pillars of health are diet, sleep, exercise, checking yourself, and orgasms. I'm sure I had the room then. You know,
Everyone's engaged.
So I led the orgasms back to, I suppose, sexual health and wellness, and I talked about incontinence. So that's urinary leakage. I talked about prolapse, which is where your pelvic organs can fall into your vagina and leave a dragging sensation. Usually it happens after vaginal deliveries, and then it can happen post-menopause when our estrogen levels drop. I spoke about urinary tract infections and the fact that women get a lot of them when they have low estrogen levels, and we should not be prescribing them antibiotics. We should be giving them vaginal estrogen. And anyway, to cut a long story short, and I talked about sex, and I talked about the fact that hiccups can be cured by orgasm and stuff like that. So then I had a queue of women after the talk, and they're just like, oh my God, I can't believe you said all that. I've had urine issues I've been leaking for like 15 years, and I'm even afraid to go to my doctor. I'm too embarrassed. So that was the theme. So I did that series of talks, which was about 5 talks, and I kind of got a bit bolder and more brazen.
Were they all shocked when you started?
They were a bit, especially when I started bringing the dildos with me and going, listen, you doesn't need to be pumping away at you. You just need to kind of rub the lamp, which is the clitoris, you know?
Yeah.
And they loved it. Women loved it because women had never even learnt that their clitoris is the main form of orgasm, that they don't need penetration. Even though they might like penetration, we all do. So, sorry, we don't all do. That's a big generalisation. Some people don't, but a lot of us do. And that made me think that. So then I got asked to do talks for like big companies like Pfizer and Microsoft and Google and Amazon. And then one day I went home after one particular talk where literally I couldn't even get to the amount of women that wanted to speak to me afterwards and tell me their story. And I said to my husband, we have to do a show. And it has to be called Viva la Vulva. And he's like, holy mother of God, no.
How is he like, absolutely not?
He's like, Laura, like you're just mad in the head, you know. But he goes, but okay, we'll go with your gut. And we did it, and we sold out around the country. Wow. And then we sold out in the National Concert Hall 3 times. That's like 1,200 women, 3-4 times. And we've got a show now coming up in January. So that showed me that women wanted to come. They wanted the information, but they didn't want to be told in a real stodgy way, really medicalised. They loved the humour, they loved the fun, because we had Kyla Cobbler, comedian at it. With Deirdre O'Kane at the next one. We had like a sex therapist. We were doing like, you know, how to masturbate on stage. You know.
Oh my God.
As in, we had a giant life-size vulva. My sister dressed up as a giant life-size. So we had Shauna Scott.
How did you rope her into that one?
Oh, she's just brilliant. Rachel is just brilliant. She's my younger sister and she's just fab. So we had, you know, Shauna Scott, who was a sex therapist, showing people how to, you know, rub their clitoris and pat their lips and get it. She goes, you need to wake that bitch up, and like was slapping her vulva. Anyway. So then I knew that I could, you know, not everyone can come to a show, and I can only do a few shows a year. So that's what made me write the book, which is then so much more than the show. So it talks about everything from, say, puberty onwards. So it just gives women and girls a really fun way to look at themselves. It's beautifully illustrated. The font is really big, is what I'm told. So and it's not overly medicalised. So it's like a book you can open a page and just go, oh, that's about thrush. And oh, Jesus, actually, I might not have thrush, even though I've been treating myself for thrush for years. It might be dermatitis because I've no pubic hair and there's no barrier between my vulva and rubbing up and down against a nice man or a woman or my tight jeans. And it's also because so many women think that they can't get help down there. They just have to put up and shut up. They were taught that that's women's issues. That just happens. You know, you're going to pee your pants after you have a baby. So what? You don't mention it. Yeah, exactly. But this shows them that actually there's solutions to everything. And there's if they just need to ask for help, and cheap solutions. They don't need to spend a fortune either. Yeah.
No. You did bring along a little, I called it a teddy. But I want to know.
This has been called a teddy. It's been called a purse. It's been called a pair of slippers. It does look like, you know, those kind of slippers. Yeah. So yes, this is my vulva puppet. So this is actually, I bought her in 2020.
Does she have a name?
Do you know what? She actually doesn't, but we could call her like Violet or something, couldn't we? Violet the vulva. Or Victoria the vulva, yeah. Maybe we should think of a nice Irish name for her though. Saoirse the vulva, meaning freedom. Freedom of the vulva. Saoirse.
I love that.
Because I talk a lot about free in the bush as well.
Free in the bush.
Dead right.
But yeah, there she is there. And there's the clitoris. Did you know where your clitoris was?
Yeah.
You did. Well,
that's
great.
The hood.
And this is the clitoral hood, yeah. And what's this here?
Oh, where you pee?
Yeah.
Your pee hole?
Good woman. And then what's this?
It's like a test. That's your vagina.
It is your vagina. And then what are these? It is huge, yeah. Well, this one's huge. This one isn't to scale now. That isn't the size of your...
That's
is
true.
that the size of your clitoris?
I wish. Maybe people could find it.
I know. I say a blind man could find that clitoris. Probably wouldn't know what to do with it, but he could find it.
Isn't it mad that like a lot of men don't know about things? But is it because women don't know?
Yeah.
That men also don't know.
And you know what I find when I'm doing my talks or I'm talking about it, men want to know these things. They're not like, ooh, I can't, that's not my stuff. That's women's issues. Men love their women. They love their mothers. They love their partners. They love their daughters, and they want to know. So if we don't know about ourselves, how can they know?
How can they learn?
Yeah,
they're rubbing the leg, and I'm like,
where are you?
What? They're rubbing your leg? They think your clitoris is on your leg? I need to meet him. I need to meet that boy.
Wait, what's the other part? Do we miss any?
Oh yeah. So what are these?
I get confused. Where are your lips?
These are your lips. These are your outer lips, your labia majora. They're the outer lips, and then these are the labia minora, which are the inner lips. So you have inner lips. Did you know that?
Oh,
well, think of your vagina.
Yeah. Open up.
Yeah. So that's the part connected to your leg, the red part.
Oh yeah.
So yes,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's
sense?
The lip. Yeah, that does make sense. So that's the outer lip, and it's connected to your leg, and it's kind of fat, and that would have the hair on
color.
it. Yeah, skin color, or it would have the hair on it, and then the inner lips have no hair on them. They're thinner, and they're a bit. Sometimes they stick out.
The wizard sleeves.
That's it. And sometimes they stick out. And what's happening nowadays because of pornography and because we
they're
look at
not meant to
porn.
even exist.
Yes, labiaplasty is a huge thing that people think that they need to get done.
is?
So
You cut
labiaplasty is
them
where they
back.
snip the lips. Now, people can do whatever they want with themselves, okay? And I don't judge whatever people decide to do. However, and people might need a labiaplasty because it's just very uncomfortable. Say the inner lips are so long that during sex they're pushed into the
that be
vagina. They may not be able
painful?
to ride a bike, or they may rub off each other when people are walking.
wow.
Okay.
So that can be a physical issue. And as we get older and our collagen levels reduce and we go through menopause, the lips will lose that little bit of volume that they have, and they'll get a bit saggy, wrinkly and stuff. So look, I can totally understand why women might want to do it. But if women are doing it because they feel that they need to have tight Barbie vulvas and vaginas,
That needs to look a certain
that's
way.
so wrong.
Okay.
And when porn is so prevalent, and boys are looking at porn too, and they see a woman with natural hanging out lips and a bit of hair, they almost think that she's unnatural or dirty. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
You know, from mothers of, say, lads in their 20s. I know someone told me recently her son came home, he's in like early 20s, and he said he'd slept with a woman the night before, and he goes, oh my goodness, woman, she'd hair down there. And his mum was like, well, you know, that it's normal that she doesn't look like a prepubescent girl, actually.
Yeah, I
But
know.
if boys are only seeing hairless women, then that's what they think is normal.
Yeah, are they conditioned to think that
Yeah.
everybody must look like the porn stars or
exactly.
what they're shown kind
It's
of
not
online?
one size fits all. There's so many
No.
different types, and
Like you can
Your
flip
vulva's a
that.
snowflake. Yours isn't the same as hers, isn't
No,
the same as
yeah.
Oh,
mine.
I like describing it like a snowflake.
unique.
My little fairy fanny. Oh,
Exactly.
it's lovely. But it's like a willy. You could flip that on its head. No one's willies are all the same.
No,
No.
well, but boys, I don't think, and men aren't as self-conscious about their willies as women would be.
Yeah,
Why
they
do,
are.
you, why do you think that is?
Because I think that women's bodies have been picked apart for millennia. So whether you've big boobs or small boobs or a big bum or a small bum or a pretty considered pretty face for, you know, whatever we think is pretty nowadays versus what was great 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy how women in the media are picked apart. Like, look at Celebrity Love Island at the minute. Like, look how Kelly Brook's been picked apart.
I know.
She's a big voluptuous, beautiful woman,
yeah.
and she's been called fat. Like, it's just crazy. But then if someone that goes in there like Vogue, who's thin, she's called too skinny. So like,
You can't win.
You can't
What's-
win
Yeah,
being a
you
woman.
can.
You can't. It's
No.
absolutely terrible. So it's like we need to build our own ideals. I think that we fall into this idea of we need to look a certain way, but it's marketing pushing it on us. And
Yeah.
we're all like, look, I get Botox. We're all,
Oh, yeah, love
you know, and I love a bikini wax. So
Yeah.
we all feed into it, but it's like, at what stage do we go, actually, this isn't right? Because if we're all removing our pubic hair, what are our daughters seeing? They're seeing no pubic hair, so they think that's normal. So now we have 16, 17-year-olds that want to laser everything off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting younger and younger.
Yeah.
I definitely do think that there is a change on social media over the last few years, even from when we probably started social media, of like people being more accepting of their bodies and stuff. And I see a lot more like women sharing videos of like, here's a lump, here's a bump, here's a cellulite.
Yeah.
Like I see so much more women sharing like, no, like bodies isn't a one size fits all kind of category.
But then do you ever go in the comments and it's still like men, and it's like,
yeah, they're like, yeah, but you're
well,
fat.
this is, yeah, like it's
And if you went to their profiles, they're bleeding gorgeous
Awful.
themselves, aren't they? I
yeah,
do think
so
that
gorgeous they have no profile picture. Yeah, that's how good looking they are.
I think we had a moment there where there was a huge body positivity movement, and it was great. But the advent of Ozempic and all those GLP-1 drugs that can make people that don't even need them to look very thin has brought that whole thin is in thing back, which is, and look, people have different body sizes, and you know, sometimes if I talk about body positivity and I talk about like, geez, it's terrible that thin is in, and then I've skinny people in my comments going, well, I've been skinny all my life and people accuse me of not eating and it's not fair, you know. So I feel that sometimes you can't win either. But
It's a rock and a hard place.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
it
because
is.
so many people are different in how they are.
What would you say is like the biggest myth, or like something that you always have to debunk about women's health to people? I'm sure there's loads.
Goodness, there's
But,
so
yeah.
many that, okay, so I suppose the main thing would be that I just have to put up and shut up with stuff. I shouldn't go and get seen to. That's my body now after I've had 3 kids. And in actual fact, that's totally incorrect. You can get help for urinary incontinence, leaking. You can get help for, you know, prolapse. You can get help for regular UTIs. a big myth would be, well, I get some messages in saying like I didn't know I had 3 holes, but you knew you had 3 holes, didn't you? Yeah.
But I only learned that in my later life, definitely.
Yeah.
Didn't know that as like a young child. Like definitely not.
Not a young child, but I think I was curious. I googled it one time. Well, I was confused. I was like, does it all just come out the same?
Yeah, no, I think I learned I think I definitely learned later in life, but from the stream of the wee. I was like, that's not coming from that.
Yeah. I remember putting a mirror down when I was sitting on the toilet
and having a go.
And having a
I
look.
think everybody should do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But actually, sorry, a myth now as well. And interesting, getting back to the pubic hair bit. So I did a talk for 2,000 teenage girls. They're about 15, 16 at the Shine Festival there a few weeks ago. And so there was 2,000 of them in the room, and I asked them to put up their hands if they thought that their pubic hair was unattractive, and 90% of them did. Really? And then I asked, how many do you think you need to remove it all? And similar amount did. And then I said, and what about the boys? Do the boys have to do that? No. So then they got angry. They come up to me afterwards. They're like, well, I don't know why that is. Like, why do boys not have to do it, but we do? So it kind of got them thinking. So I think that if we have those conversations with women, like it may not change overnight, but it'll certainly make them think, why am I doing this? You know, pubic hair is actually protective.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a barrier of protection against friction during intercourse. It protects against, your tight jeans and stuff. Yeah. It has the hair has a microbiota, which helps to protect the dermal skin underneath as well. And it's your first barrier of protection against infections too. Yeah. So it does serve a purpose. It isn't just there to be there for decoration. Yeah. And years ago it was considered very attractive. Like in the 70s there was all the page 3 models would have big massive bushes.
Have you seen Kim Kardashian's knickers that she brought out with the bush on them?
Yeah, but that's interesting because that they're designed, aren't they, to be worn over a bare vulva. So isn't the idea behind them that all the pubic hair is taken away underneath them? Yeah. But you're wearing the pants. Fair play to her marketing team are absolutely unreal.
Clean
they just
on it,
stuff.
And the nipple bra as well.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
It's insane. But do you think there will be a time again? Because obviously you were saying back in the 70s it was in to have a bush. Will that come back around? Because I feel like trends do.
I think trends do. And I think it will. But it is interesting how the trends seem to be women's bodies.
That's I know.
Not male bodies.
And there's such a different conversation around men's bodies. A dad bod is seen as a really good thing, but then God forbid a woman puts on a bit of weight after having a kid. Which is she's the one that had the child. But it's for men, it's oh, dad bod,
you
cool,
just stay
they're really
you
and then the women just get torn apart.
They get torn apart by each other, and so we need to be so much nicer as a community of women as well. I think, and it's so easy for women to go, would you look at your own notions?
Exactly.
Notions
but that we can't even speak nice about each other. How do we expect men to
they won't
follow suit? And even comments on TikTok, they're all taking that in and reading that and seeing other girls tear other women apart.
Yeah.
And it's subconsciously going in their brain that that's okay.
That's normal.
And then it's anyway, yeah. But I would feel like if I was now having sex with someone for the first time, I'd be like, I couldn't have a hair. But that I don't know why I feel like that.
Guys, I'll never forget.
Yeah, I would I couldn't go with a bush.
Me losing my virginity. I shaved from my forehead to my toenail. I shaved my back. I shaved my arms. I shaved I was like a dolphin. Because the thought in my head of, oh, Jesus Christ, if he sees that I have one hair somewhere. But isn't that awful?
I know.
That I thought
but it's so interesting because it's
the back in the shower. What?
But you're basically, so prepubescent girls have no hair. Why are we trying to?
Why are we going back to that? Yeah.
In actual fact, it's a bit creepy.
It is. When you actually deep the fact, we are shaven from everywhere and going back to completely baldy. Why do we think that that's the most attractive?
The way when you're young, you're dying to get your pubes because you want to be a woman.
You want to be a woman.
And then
you spend your life
getting rid of them.
It's
crazy. It is
insane. There's also been a lot more conversation and awareness online about periods and women's health that way, PMDD, PMS, all that. I feel like I don't know if I've seen more about it or if it's just because I've been looking it up, because I feel like I thought I had MDD for a while.
Did you?
Because I get really, before my period, the week before, really down.
Okay.
But it was not always like that.
Okay.
It came in kind of later in life as my periods kind of got worse.
Yeah.
And I was looking it up and stuff. So I see a lot more about that now, but I don't know if it's because I look it up. But would you see that on your...
I need to
pages
hold my
of
hand up
yourself,
here. I
you
am
know.
so uneducated in all this. I was only saying to Cher before you came in, I was like, I couldn't tell you, like, I couldn't explain the menstrual cycle. I don't know when my period is coming, when it's going, what it is. Like, even you were saying, like, how you know the week
I know
before
the
and stuff.
phase. I know what phase.
I am so uneducated in all of this, so bad. But I do see a lot more people talking about like endometriosis and stuff. I don't know really what it is, but
Okay.
I've definitely seen more women talking about it and more like awareness.
You see, maybe your periods don't really affect your life, so you don't need to know about them.
Like,
do you not?
I just take a pill continuously.
Oh, right, okay.
Never. No.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like I've never had like painful periods or heavy periods. Or
so
anything.
I suppose it's understandable. You're just like you don't need to think about them, but when you get to the stage where you probably want to have a baby, maybe you'll probably be more interested in them.
I need to learn a bit more.
And then yourself, who thinks that they may have had, or you worry that you may have PMDD because you get really low before your period. So obviously you're interested in how your cycle affects your moods, because it does affect your mood, and that's really normal for you to have a little bit of PMS, say before, a few days before your period, and feel a bit down and low because your hormone levels are as low as they can be.
Like Antichrist
so
around.
so that can be, but if like PMDD is it's different again, so it's like really low, like almost can't get out of the bed. Your moods may be really up and down, really irritable, and it can start from about 14 days before your period is due. And you can be in this constant cycle. Now there is help out there though. You can take like an SSRI, which is an antidepressant, for just those 14 days before your period is due. It does seem to work sometimes for people. So there are ways that you can get help, but I suppose the problem is accessing the doctors that know how to deal with it specifically, because GPs are fantastic, but they can't know everything about everything.
No.
And I suppose now that women's health is more at the forefront now, women are standing up and talking about it more, and they're not just, putting up and shutting up regardless of what part of their body that it's affecting. But I'd say to you that if you are experiencing that PMS, and if it's a regular thing, you definitely, it's worth kind of trying it out, checking it out.
1 in 20 women has PMDD, which is not like, that's a lot.
It's huge. There is a huge amount, and it's severely underdiagnosed.
Yeah, it's hard to diagnose as well. I remember looking it up because it's like, it's just your mood, isn't it? Like it's nothing you can't like.
Yes, and because you're not all the time down, your mood will lift then.
And
it
then
can become,
and then when my mood lifts, I'm like, oh sure, I'm grand. And then you forget about it until it happens again. It's like your brain literally forgets, and then you're like, oh, here we are again.
I have seen a lot of videos of girls saying like that it took them years to be diagnosed with PCOS and stuff. Is it just a harder thing to diagnose, or is it like a case of, I don't know, if you go to a certain doctor,
you see, I think that what happened traditionally was girls got their periods, and whether they were very painful or very heavy, it was just told that's just part of life. So that was what a lot of girls would have been told. So even the likes of endometriosis sometimes takes 8 to 10 years to be diagnosed.
Really?
So women will be living with this pain until they're finally diagnosed. So it's definitely because women's health wasn't at the forefront of medical education even. Like, for instance, the Greek word hystra comes from the word for uterus. So hysteria comes from the word hystra, which is uterus in Greek, in ancient Greek.
Wow.
So traditionally medicine was focused around the hysterical woman, the hysterical hormonal woman, and there wasn't enough information and education given to women, and B, to the medics that were treating them. So, there was this term as well that was bandied around called WW, which is whiny woman. So women in midlife going into their doctors, maybe going into emergency departments
with just the
WW, she's a whiny woman. So basically she probably would have had aches and pains, maybe libido low, a bit irritable, a bit fatigued, but no one could point to, it was just menopause. It was her hormones, but she'd just be labelled a WW.
If your appliances can't handle the holiday hosting heat, December deal drops at Lowe's makes upgrading easy. Get up to 35% off select major appliances, and rewards members save an additional $40 on the Whirlpool electric range and the over-the-range microwave. Plus, get up to 60% off select ladders, so you can deck all the halls. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 12/10. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details.
I wish men got periods, because if they did, there'd be so much better things in place. Honestly,
we'd live a different life.
Weeks off for your period once every like a week in the month. So much better.
I think all women deserve a period day. Call it.
I agree.
Period.
A sick day once a month.
And I truly believe that all sanitary products should be free. We don't ask to have these.
No,
I
true.
Really do.
True.
I think
there is huge amount of period poverty.
Is there?
There is, yeah.
Really?
There's huge amount of period poverty.
I went to buy a box of tampons the other day. They're like €7.
They're expensive.
Yeah,
They are. I wear the period pants now. I love them. And you can buy them in pennies. They're cheap now. They used to be expensive when they first came out.
Okay.
But you can buy them in pennies. I absolutely love them. And I was a tampon girl.
Were you?
Yeah. Tampon and pad I needed, but I just love the period pants now because they just.
What do you do? So you wear them all day?
You just wear them all day and then you just throw them into the wash. You're supposed to like wash them separately, but I don't bother. Like I have 3 lads, I'm washing left, right, and centre. So here's a shout out. I'm washing my period pants and all the clothes. But so you just bleed into your pants, and there's heavy days, there's medium days, and there's light day pants.
Oh.
And you just bleed into them, so you just pop them in the wash, and then they're fresh the next day. And then, like, you know the way sometimes you might get a clot that'll sit on your sanitary towel. So similar, you can get that on your in the heavier days on those. I just like pick it off with a bit of tissue and put it in the toilet. It's easy, like.
Wow.
I actually did a demo of it online once, and I used the jelly as a clot. And then I sent it. So I sent the video to my social media girl who edits videos for me. But before I sent it to her, so I picked it up and I ate the jelly. And she was like, and I didn't say to her, I said, "Will you just edit this?" And I didn't really think. And she said she was watching it and she nearly barfed. Because in her head, that was a blood clot.
She's trying to quit her
Just
job.
having a little taste of it beforehand.
And we were talking obviously about period and period pain. We're obviously told that like periods are supposed to be sore, but what level of pain like isn't normal, I suppose, and how do
when it's affecting your quality of life, like they're
Okay.
not supposed to be so painful that you can't get out of bed or you can't go to school.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
not. It's just not
Normal,
okay to
yeah.
be living like that. You need to go to the doctor and you need to get assessed. And things can be given to girls. So, well, you can put on the contraceptive pill.
That seems to be the main.
And that can regularise your periods that little bit more and make them less painful and less heavy. But also you can be given, because you know, there'll be a lot of mums that don't want to put their daughters that are young on medication like that. You can take like mefenamic acid, which is known as Ponston. So you can take that about 4 days coming up to your period. So if you know your period is due, say in 4 days' time, you start taking this Ponston prior to it, and it can stop the cramps, and it can just alleviate that and help people out if they take it prophylactically. So that's taking it in advance of the thing happening. So that can help too. So yeah, so I would say that if women are having period issues that are affecting their quality of life, like we all can have a little bit of cramping, but it shouldn't be sore to the point if we stop doing our day to day. And also, interestingly enough, even though you may not feel like it, exercise is really good when you have your period. So going for a swim or going for a light run or a walk or going to the gym and lifting weights, it's actually good for you. You don't have to overdo it, but it's good to get those hormones going in your body as well, because it can they can be released, because you know when you have the good feeling hormones released, it can alleviate the pain as well.
Yeah,
so
true.
Helps.
Yeah.
I need to ask you about, is there still confusion over the pill?
Yeah,
Like,
there's loads of confusion.
is there?
So I'd have girls coming into me and they're already on the pill and they're taking it correctly, and because they may be using a condom as well, and the condom broke or they forgot to use the condom, they want the morning after pill. And I'm trying to explain to them, well, if you took the pill every day consistently the way you should, you don't need the morning after pill. So they almost think, I don't know, they think that they need the morning after pill because if the boy or man came inside them, that they could get pregnant, but if they're taking the pill correctly, they don't.
It should be fine.
There's loads of misconceptions. Yeah, so the pill used to be a 7-day break.
Yeah.
So do you know what the origins of that were?
No.
Priest? Was it a priest or something? No.
The origins of that were it couldn't get past. So it was basically the person who developed it was a Catholic in the Catholic Church or something like that, and they couldn't get it. It wasn't allowed to be used if it affected, I suppose, if it affected pregnancies. Okay. So it was used as a result, it was used as a menstrual regulator. So it's like a huge amount of women in Ireland on menstrual regulators back in the day, because it wasn't supposed to be a contraceptive. But in order for it to be a menstrual regulator, they had to take a 7-day break in order to allow the period to happen. So it looked like it was a period. So that was actually the origins of it. There's absolutely no need for that 7-day break. Yeah. And now what we suggest is people just like, they can take it, you know, long term and take a break every 4 months or every 6 months if they want.
You never
they can just take a 4-day break. Yeah.
That's what I do now currently. But I remember when I went to my GP and like, you know, just getting your new prescription for your 6 months or whatever. I remember her saying to me, she was like, "Oh, you don't need to take the week break. And I was like, but I'll get pregnant. What are you talking about? She's like, no. I just take it continuously now. And sometimes if I forget to take it and I get a period, I'll let my body have a period. And then I just start it back up again. And I wouldn't get a period for months.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it is interesting. So that stemmed from religion.
I never knew that. They couldn't call it a contraception.
They couldn't call it contraception. So it was a menstrual cycle regulator. So that's why the 7-day rule came in, which we all learned. I learned it back in college. All my doctor friends learned it. And there was never any talk about the fact that actually it was unnecessary.
It wasn't even
and even the whole, like, remembering the 7-day break was a pain in the arse for a lot of girls.
I used to get...
You go off and then you keep forgetting to take it then.
Yeah.
You know,
it actually makes it worse.
Yeah.
I lived in Canada a few years ago and I remember getting the pill over there and the packet that you'd get, your 3 weeks were one colour and your 1 week was one.
Was a different colour.
So you'd
be taking a dummy one.
Yeah, you're still taking it, but there's no nothing sugar.
It's just sugar cane.
There's nothing in it. But I was like, so that's where you take your break, obviously, but there's no need for it.
I know. So so there's lots of confusion, I think, with some people. And then obviously there's different forms of contraception now. So there's like the JS is like the IUD, so it's an intrauterine device. So it's like the coil. It can just be popped up into your uterus and put in place.
I'm so scared to ever get that. It just looks like it's sore.
Also, those devices actually, you know, you can get pelvic inflammatory disease from them if you have different partners. So you're more susceptible to so if you pick up an STI and the STI goes up into your fallopian tubes and that, and you can get pelvic inflammatory disease.
And then you can get...
And you're more susceptible to that with intrauterine devices than you would be with the pill.
I think just the thought of something I can't really say on fake boobs. Well, my something just sitting up inside.
They're really handy though for people that would forget to take the pill or that just they're so busy and you know once it's in like they're good. And you have a lot of older women that have had babies and they get it in and they get something called the Marina because the JDS one is much smaller because if a woman hasn't had a baby yet her cervix is like shut tight whereas mine would be like a big gaping hole. You know, I could probably put it up here in front of you. Without it moving, you know. So it's just
my doctor actually she recommended like something you put up, is it for like 21 days and then you take it out for a few days. I don't know what it was.
That's a Nuva ring.
A ring.
So that's a Nuva ring. So that is a ring that's that has hormones in it and you put it up into your vagina and it kind of sits there, rests at the top of your vagina.
How am I getting that back out?
And you just stick your fingers up and pull it out.
But is it not up in your uterus or is it just
no, it can't go up into your uterus. Nothing can go up there except sperm.
Really?
Nothing can get it. Like your tampon can get lost up in your uterus. So your cervix, as I said, is kind of like it's closed. I said mine is a big gaping hole, but like, you know, obviously I was being facetious. Really, only semen can get up there.
Travel up there.
Yeah, and obviously STIs and stuff like that. Like small, really tiny, but you can't get you can't get a tampon lost in your uterus. It just gets lost and sometimes stuck, you know,
somewhere
inside the side of your uterus. But so you just put your fingers up and kind of feel around for it and pull it out. But some women don't like doing that, and that's totally normal as well. Some women don't like fingering themselves. To be fair to be done to them.
Wrong. I remember actually the first time I tried to put a tampon in, I don't think I had my period, I did, but I didn't have it at the time where I tried to put it in. I mean, it was me and my friend, one of us in the bedroom, one in the bathroom. We were trying to do it at the same time. And we were like, do you get in yet? No. You get in yet? No. And we were both like literally hadn't even
I know, because you kind of have to go like backwards.
Yeah,
and it's not straight up.
It's not straight up at all.
It took us a good few times.
I know.
I didn't even get it on that day. I got it on a day where I was on holidays and we were going to the sea that day and I was like, I have to get this in. And I remember crying and all, then I got it up in the end.
God.
It's so hard.
And then you know the way when you get it up, but it's not up properly, so you can feel it.
Feel it.
And then you have to shove it up again.
Yeah, it's not a good time.
It's awful.
Sorry, but anyway, what is not normal that people should look out for down there? Like a smell, discharge.
Yeah,
like
so a smell is normal, as in like there's a normal. Every woman has their own unique scent.
It shouldn't smell like flowers.
It should not smell like flowers or
I learned
roses.
that off TikTok.
It should not smell like flowers.
Or perfume.
And you know we've been shown Femme Fresh, and there's no Willy Fresh products out there, is there?
Oh, I never even thought of that.
No.
Femme Fresh is bad.
So why are we insisting that women should be fresh? Of course we need to be clean.
Yeah.
We don't need to be. Your vagina is a self-cleaning oven. You don't need anything up there to clean it. So it just cleans itself. It creates a discharge. It sweeps out the old cells and it renews itself. So it's perfect. Obviously the outside lips and stuff like that. Like if you want to in your thighs and that, give yourself a little bit of freshen up. But like with just a very mild soap or a cleanser. So it's natural to smell. Your smell will change throughout the month. And then your smell will change as you age too. So as women get older and their pH levels increase, their smell will change too. But you also have to remember that your nose is the nearest to your vulva than anyone else's. So you might have a smell and, no one else can smell. I just get a lot of older women messaging me going, my smell has changed and I'm really worried. If there's a foul smell, obviously you need to get that changed. If there's any kind of discharge, that's not normal. So it's normal to have a little bit of white or yellow discharge on your knickers, very light and faint. And that's totally normal. But if it becomes copious, as in, or it's thicker, or it's, there's much more of it than normal, I'd be going to get that checked out. I'd be going to get checked out if I bleed after sex. So bleeding after sex shouldn't happen.
Okay.
And if you do bleed after sex, you need to go and get seen to, because that can be a sign of cervical cancer.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that to frighten anyone, but that can sometimes be one of the first signs.
Yeah.
And some, so obviously if you're going at it like the clappers, there can be a bit of friction there. So you need to know what's what. But if it does happen and it's happening frequently, you'd need to go and get that checked out. Really, really important. What else?
And then just getting checked in general, I think, as well, for STIs and stuff. Because I've had conversations with people who have never, ever, ever been checked. And I'm like,
how?
You don't, and people don't realise that a lot of people don't have symptoms from them. So they think, I feel fine. Yeah.
70% of STIs will be asymptomatic, which means they have no symptoms. So, and it's particularly concerning for women. Yeah. So, because everything happens to us. But if a lady gets chlamydia and it doesn't get treated and then she gets it again, maybe it can actually affect her fallopian tubes, and it can render her infertile then when she's older. So what I always say, and what any gum specialist, which is genital urinary specialist doctors would say, is get tested in between every partner that you have. So if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend and, with same-sex relationships, like they share sex toys and stuff like that. So it's important that they get checked out too, and we don't just leave them out of the conversation. So get checked in between each partner, and then make sure your partner is getting checked too. And if anyone turns around to you and goes, I'm clean and, I'm not.
Yeah, they take offence to it.
I'm taking offence. They are not worth you sharing your body with.
No,
that's what I would say.
True.
It's just like, they are not the person that you want to be with, no matter how hunky they are.
Men are like, but I'm grand. Like, but you don't know that.
I know, but sure, I know people that were like, oh, I thought if the girl was good looking, there's no way she'd have an STI. I'm like,
what does that mean?
No, but that is the mindset of like, everyone I've been with has been clean. Like, but like, you don't know that.
You don't know, and it's really easy to spread an STI. So that's really important. And there should be no stigma. It should be just seen like a chest infection or like a
sore throat.
A sore throat. You're going to the doctor, and chlamydia is actually quite prevalent, and infections in the throat too, because of all this deep throat blowjobs that people are expected to give. But I'm saying it is, because it's true. And like, young girls think that it's totally normal to be choking on someone's penis, and it's not normal. Okay, and as a result, no matter what they might ask you to do, and as a result, girls are getting STIs in their throat. So like the likes of gonorrhea and stuff like that. So it's really important that they know, first of all, like, that you value yourself enough to know, well, first of all, if you're going to be with someone, that they are safe and they have been tested, and that you've been tested, and that you don't do stuff that you don't want to do or that doesn't feel safe or that makes you feel really uncomfortable. Just because someone in pornography is doing it doesn't mean that you have to do it. And you have to stand up for your values, and you have to stand up for the person that you are, and ask yourself, like, if I don't want to do this, and I feel I'm being coerced into it, then what does that say about me, and what does it say about the relationship that I'm in? It's really important, So so STIs, and also it's really easy to get STIs checks now, because you can actually get them free sent to your home. Online, you SH24, you just pop the number in, and it just delivers it discreetly to your door, so your mum doesn't even need to know what it is. And you can go and do a little vaginal swab, throat swab sometimes. You take a little blood test and you send it off, and they will text you you'll text you the results, and if they will signpost you if you need to go to your doctor to get treatment. And often it's just an antibiotic and off you go. But obviously the time after you've had sex is important too, because sometimes a positive test won't show up for a number of weeks, so that's really important too. But they'll talk you through that.
I think there's a stigma of like, you have to have been with loads of people even to get one, but you can get off one person.
That's like saying you have to have had loads of sex to get pregnant, and
that's one time. And that's not true either.
It just takes one bullseye, guys.
No, just the one. We want to talk about sex for a minute, as if we haven't.
I hate
already.
talking about sex.
We often get dilemmas in from women worrying about their libido, how much they enjoy sex. Can our health and women's health have an impact on that? Because I think that's something that men probably don't understand and women are confused about.
Yeah. So our hormones can affect whether we're horny or not. We get very amorous coming up to our ovulatory date. You know, that kind of mid-month, they were like, take me, baby. Who is it? Particularly with men.
We glow around that time.
We do. And you know, you see a big builder walking by in his Snickers shorts, you just want to throw him up against the wall. You know, that is our instinct as females.
Why is the Snickers? My boyfriend's an electrician, and when he did his Snickers,
so sexy. And actually,
something about
it, and a big beard, you know. I'm here for you. And then the rest of the month, you just want to marry an accountant. So when you're ovulating, so for about basically 12 hours in the month, we're really horny, and the rest of it we can take it or leave it.
That's gas, isn't it?
But so that would be your normal cycle. Obviously, our libido can wane during periods of stress, during periods of tiredness. If people have young babies, it's like, and if people are breastfeeding, if you're breastfeeding, it's literally like you're in menopause because your estrogen levels are so low. So, and obviously if you're breastfeeding as well, your baby's on top of you all day. The last thing you want is a partner on top of you when they get home. So you can often feel touched out. So it is normal for our libido to wane. Like men have a circadian rhythm, which is basically a 24-hour clock. They wake up in the morning with a morning horn. They, do whatever they need to do. They go about their day, might go to the gym, they go to bed, go to sleep, and it's basically they can do the same thing every single day.
So they're horny up here all the time, but our horny is
up and down.
Cycles, we have a menstruation, so we have a circadian rhythm, but we also have an infradian rhythm, which is our menstrual cycle. So our levels are up and down all the time. So we're not in sync with men. So yes, they could basically do it at the drop of the hat. And they also desire is something that's very different. So whereas a man can sometimes just get it on really easily, we need to be like told we're lovely, and we need to maybe, our neck to be rubbed or
empty the dishwasher.
Or oh my God, I always say nothing gets me more turned on than a clean kitchen. And I tell the women like, tell your husband, I tell my husband like, when I see you bending over and emptying that dishwasher without me asking, baby, I just want you. So and you will get your dishwasher clean. So it is those things. So for women to know that it's some, and also if women are taking the pill, that can affect their libido too. And that's not to say that, like, the pill is brilliant and it has been a life changer for women and women's health and our independence. But you'd have women that might go on the pill at 16, 17 and they may not go off it until they're 32, and then they go, oh my God, what is this? I suddenly have a libido.
That's what my fear is. So no, not my fear with libido. Don't worry about that. But I've been on the pill since I'm 15. I'm 30 now. I'm terrified to come off this and be
like a raging lunatic.
Yeah,
I was crazy on the pill. I had to come off it.
What if I'm normal or what if I'm a completely different person? I'm like, oh my God, is this how I should have been living?
I don't think you'd be a completely different person.
Would you not?
Well, look, if you were if you're real low now and it was hormonally affecting you that way, it can affect libido though. And some women will say they didn't realise they ever had one, or someone will say I came off it, or someone will say I had libido and then I went on it and then my libido was extinguished and I didn't realise for a couple of years that actually that was affecting it. So, but there are so many different options now for contraception that people can, they can trial it.
Try different things.
So that's something as well that women need to understand. And then, antidepressants can affect libido. Yeah. So people can have a very low libido, or what can happen is with antidepressants is they may be in the mood, but they can't achieve orgasm. Okay. So you imagine that you're like, oh, I'm going, and then it never happens. Wow. So that can happen too. It's called anorgasmia. So even though you want to, you can't actually achieve orgasm. So, and that can happen both men and women. Wow. So it's important for people to know that. So then they can schedule their antidepressants. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll say, okay, well, look, I'll have sex first thing in the morning and then I'll take my antidepressants, because by the time it's kind of the half-life has happened overnight and that, it's kind of more or less very low in my system before I need to take it again. So they might schedule sex for that. And so there, and some people might just need to change antidepressants, or what they might do is they might need to go on a lower one. But I would never suggest anyone goes off an antidepressant or lowers it without talking to the doctor and pharmacist. It's really important that that's done really carefully. Yeah. And like you're a whole beautiful individual person, and what you might experience could be very different to what I could experience. And I think we always need to understand that, because I would have had people coming in on psychiatric medication into the pharmacy and they would have been getting on very well on, say, a certain brand, and then we need to change them over to a generic, and they will say even after a month their symptoms might begin to happen again. And if they come into me and they said that, I would absolutely change them back over. But you'd have some people questioning that and going, oh, that's just in your head. And I think that is just, we cannot keep
right,
saying that to people, particularly women, that something is in their head. If you're experiencing something that is very real to you, it's your lived experience.
Yeah.
So as healthcare professionals, we need to understand that we need to take what you're saying as that's the way it is, and we need to listen to our patients. So really important.
You, on another note, you also get sent in confessions and dilemmas and stuff. So is there can you think of a funniest confession you've ever been sent in? Or one that just springs to mind that you're like, oh, holy wow.
I get loads of affair. I got one lady saying, well, I'm assuming she was a lady, she said she was having an affair with her husband's brother. Yeah, and she was in love with him.
Did they listen to Home I Drink?
Honestly.
So there was that one, and then the sexy ones are just wild. There's I can see. I have an older cohort than you, but I get them my kids walked in and me giving my husband a blowjob, and they're 7 and 9, and
traumatized.
I can't look at them or people doing mad kinky stuff, with utensils and things like that.
Oh,
yeah. I got one woman there saying that I'm assuming she was a woman. Oh, she was a woman, definitely, yeah. So she said, there's nothing quite like, I now know there's nothing that beats being strapped to a chair and eating out. Whatever does it for you.
She's getting up to.
And then people doing things in cars and all kinds of things. I think Ireland is
more adventurous than we think.
I think so. I think there's a lot that goes on behind closed doors that we don't know about.
We were talking the dogging and all.
The wife swapping in. Was it up in the Midlands?
Loads of stuff. It would seem to me. Now, I don't know, because I don't know if and maybe like you as well, obviously people are telling me these things because they know that they can just put them in and it's anonymous and stuff like that. But that's a cohort of people. I don't know if that, people are wanting to tell you that stuff. They're not going to go, oh, I think my husband's amazing, we just have a vanilla sex life. So the people that are messaging you are probably going to message you the wild stuff. So I don't think you can say that's an absolute cohort of Irish society.
No.
And a lot of swingers. Do you know what
swingers?
swingers?
Yeah.
A lot of swingers.
In the Midlands.
Yeah, in the Midlands.
Apparently it's the biggest for
Well,
it.
there's nothing to do in the Midlands. So
that's what I mean.
Just write each other.
I was in the airport and I picked up this book in one of them W.H. Smiths, and it was a book full of women's and they're their biggest fantasies that they'd ever want.
Oh, was it called Want by Gillian Anderson?
And it was a really striking cover, so I picked it up. Oh my God. I was flicking through, I was like, what the fuck? And it tells you all the women, their age, where they're from, but not their name, obviously.
And what they're into.
Well, some of them aren't. It could be the nichest thing of exactly what they want, but it's a whole thing out their head. It's wild.
Wow.
Yeah. Jeez. Very interesting. What women want. But I think women are kind of coming into that and taking their power back of
not being afraid to ask.
Not being afraid to ask for it, maybe. Yeah. Where I think we were.
They're more vocal, I think, about what we want.
Yeah.
And then I get messages from people saying my husband pissed me off yesterday, so I used the toilet water for his drink to stay at dinner time, or I gave him gone off chicken because he's paying the whole, or my
just give me fella salmonella.
My baby was sucking on the toilet brush when I came in. He just started crawling. I feel so guilty. Or I dropped my baby, out of the car. I forgot to strap him into the car seat, and I picked the car seat up and he fell out. So that kind of funny stuff. It's not funny that you drop shit, but that kind of wild stuff in between all the other stuff is just funny. Or
it's more
I pee in the shower. I pee in everybody's shower whenever I'm showering. All this kind of stuff. It's funny
stuff that we don't say.
Yeah. You definitely do. We've done it.
I stick my finger in my belly button and love to smell it.
I feel seen.
Or people that love smelling their knickers.
Really?
Yeah. And I actually put some of the confessions throughout the book because some of them are just so funny, and they're just real life. They're just real people just telling you stuff.
Sometimes I do love smelling my belly bar.
Yeah, the belly bar.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah, I love doing. I love taking my earrings out and smell my earrings.
Yeah, why do we do that?
Nasty smell.
It's a bit rotten, but I kind of it's like your own farts. You can handle your own.
Yeah, but if someone else smell my earring, they would think it's not nice.
Yeah,
well, I'm when
it's something to do with you don't. You're kind of
yeah, I don't care. What else can we expect from your book, and where can people find it?
Oh, they can find it in bookstores all over Ireland, I suppose, and also online on my Fabu Wellness website, so FABU Wellness. And you can expect everything in it, from thrush to BV, which is bacterial vaginosis, which is that fishy smell that girls can get down below, to prolapse, to post-pregnancy care, to post-cancer care, because a lot of ladies that go through cancer will be plunged into menopause, and they can have all kinds of issues with sex and with discomfort and with intimacy, and then also with urinary tract infections. So it basically covers the whole shebang. And there's a beautiful big diagram of a fabulous looking vulva.
Wow.
So you know exactly where everything is.
Yeah. Lord, that was so interesting.
So interesting.
Oh my God. We have a bit more to do.
Oh, yeah.
We have Red Flag Radar, which is where people send in like things they think might be a red flag, and we can either confirm or deny and give a little bit more context. So the first one is, when we're planning a date night, he always just says, I don't know, what do you want to do? I'd love him to make the effort sometimes.
Is it a red flag?
No, I don't think that's a red flag. If he's just happy for her to make the decision. And just, he seems like an easygoing guy.
Yeah.
I would be more concerned if he was like, this is what we're doing, and he wouldn't deviate from his plans.
If it was very set in stone and it was his way or no way.
Yeah, what I'd say to that lady would be, just say to her partner, look, I'd love you to surprise me someday, and just you decide. You decide, be the daddy.
Yeah. Maybe she wants a bit more like
daddy.
Yeah, daddy.
Yeah. The next one is, every year the 12 pubs comes around and he loses the run of himself, blacks out, causes an argument, and then wakes up wondering why I'm annoyed. It's not all the time, but these big few nights out with the lads are getting harder to deal with. He's 34, like.
Red flag.
I think alcohol in particular can make people act in ways that they shouldn't.
Gaga.
And if that's concerning you now, can you imagine what that's going to be like in 10 years' time when you have a couple of kids? And what are your children seeing? You know, my dad was actually, he always said to me, just be careful. He goes, marry whoever you want. He says, but be careful of anyone who's very fond of the drink. Because if they're very fond of the drink, they'll be more fond of the drink than they're fond of you. Yeah, it's just, and I know she says it's only once a year, but I don't know. With the stress of living and family life as well, the once a year drip benders can turn into more than once a year too. And if she's unhappy and if he's acting the maggot and he's blacking out, he's not being safe.
You dread that time of year, like coming up to it. She's not looking forward to Christmas. She's dreading in her head.
And it's changing, it's turning him into someone else. So like, why would he want that?
As you get older, should it not be the opposite? Should you not be like, I'm allergic to the drink, the hangover kills me off for a week? Maybe red.
It's a bit childish as well, like at 34 doing that. Like, I mean, who needs to do that?
And starting arguments and all. Yeah,
I know. And then the lead up to it's all exciting, and then going absolutely gaga. Like, that wouldn't be now my cup tea.
Last one is, he won't watch a movie until he's spent about 30 minutes reading all the reviews online. Then half the time decides it's shite before he's even watched it.
Is this what
That's my husband.
Charleen Googles the end.
I Google the end. And if I'm in the cinema, I'm so impatient. Actually I'm at home as well.
Google.
I have to Google and know what happens at the end.
When I'm reading a book, I have to read the last chapter.
That's like me.
It's particularly if it's like a psycho thriller, because I'm afraid I want to know who's dead, so I kind of get it. Or if just say something awful's happening while I'm reading the book, I kind of flick a few pages to see. I can't cope with all that.
Maybe it's the anxiety of the unknown. I don't like. I just need to know what I'm setting myself up for. Like,
I don't think that's a red flag. I think that's just someone's personality.
That's just his thing.
That could be my husband.
Did you write this in?
We got this in from your husband,
Mr. Fabulous.
Oh God. And then we have Seeks in the Stall. So we've one dilemma that got brought in. So I'm seeing this boy. We met at a friend's birthday party and he slid into my DMs afterwards. Our first 2 dates went great. We chatted for hours, although he didn't make any move and wasn't very flirty. We then saw each other in a club and we got with each other. I told him in the club that night I wanted him to make more of an effort, as I'd been the one to ask him to go on another date, and sometimes I feel like when I'm flirting he doesn't reciprocate. From then onwards he was more flirty, asked me for another date, like my Instagram stories, etc. However, the next date never happened because he was sick and he hasn't rescheduled. We still text every day and I do believe he likes me. He told me he's told his friends about me and that I'm his best friend on socials. Girls, what do? I've asked my friend that knows him and said he's so wholesome and so nice, but I'm not sure if I'm being flirty. If him not being flirty, I'm more for it as a turn off.
What's a best friend on socials? I don't want to be your best friend. What?
I would
not be like,
I would go no contact.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Make him beg.
Some men like being pen pals. It's weird. I've seen it happen to my friends before. That's like, it comes up to meeting up and then they're like, something happens and they don't meet up, but they love texting. They love the whole pen pal situation.
Probably get turned on by it or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'd be like, I just go no contact with that. I would just pretend. I just wouldn't respond to the next text. If he really wanted you, he'd be going after you.
Yeah. If it's not a hell yeah, it's a hell no.
Oh,
I've seen that on TikTok.
That's a good one, Char.
If someone's confusing you that early on, like,
what's the future going to look like?
And she already told him, I need you to be this, that, and the other thing. And So he
put
knows.
it on a plate for him.
Yeah, and he's still. So
Yeah.
I think that maybe he's just not into her.
Yeah, because what you can't tell the grandkids, we started off and he didn't really like me, but then we started to meet up. Like, it's not.
I had to kind of force him
This
to
isn't
like
the
me.
start of your love story. I don't
No.
think.
This sounds like an effort. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you're liking the fantasy idea of him in your head, but he's actually not given anything.
What do we call that again? The
Love with the potential
yeah,
of what it could be.
the what if, basically.
Yeah.
You're loving the what if and
That'd
the
be so
the story.
boring, though, wouldn't it? Like texting, not meeting. I couldn't be coping now with the way things are done these days. I was
Texting
big
is
into
the
it. So
worst.
I asked my husband to the Debs.
Did
And we're
you?
together ever since. Yeah.
Oh.
So I was like, we'd landlines back then. This is how old I
Yeah.
am, girls. I'm like 45. I phoned him up and went, "Hi, will you come?" I hadn't seen him in 2 years. He was one of my very good friends' older brothers. And I'd known him to bring the Debs, and I phoned him up, hadn't seen him in 2 years. I was like, "Hey, would you come to the Debs?" And he's like, "Okay."
That's so ballsy. Like, I feel like that would never happen now.
No, it wouldn't.
That would whereas
And we
back
hadn't
then it was
kissed
like,
before or anything.
nothing.
We just,
oh yeah, come to
And
them.
then
never
we,
seen?
we never broke up.
Oh, that's adorable. I like that.
And did you like him, or you just thought, like, that's my friend, I want to bring him?
No, I had always fancied him,
You
but he was a
fancied
couple of years older than me. So at 14, you couldn't be going on with a 16-year-old. So
Oh, that would be like,
so then
yeah.
by the time I was 18, and he'd always made me like, actually, do you know what? He'd always acted quite aloof. He'd always been, a bit like, not overly
Nonchalant,
interested.
like, yeah.
He was nonchalant.
Was he?
Yeah. And he said that was deliberate.
Oh,
Yeah, because he did like me.
knew what he was doing.
So he knew what he was doing. Took 4 years. But yes, so I asked him out, but I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, but I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll do it. And then she arranged kind of like she arranged a date
pre-date.
about a week before the Devs, and we kissed then, and he was so funny, and mad about him.
Oh,
Just fell head over
God.
heels, like, and that was it.
Right, see, that's what this listener needs.
That's
you know what I
You
mean?
need a man who actually is showing interest.
Yeah.
Interest is sexy.
Yeah, interest is sexy, and they don't need to be like all over you like a rash either,
yeah.
but they need to show you something. Yeah.
Yeah. Laura, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
coming
so
on.
much.
Thanks a million.
So Phone a Friend has now been moved to our bonus episode. If you're missing that comes out on Mondays. So make sure to pop over there to hear the amazing advice that you guys always give.
Yep.
But apart from that, that's it from us for this week.
That's us.
You can watch full video if you want on Thursdays.
Yep.
Full video comes out on YouTube and you can see the vulva teddy
Oh,
there.
yeah.
See it
Definitely
all.
go over and see that.
But thanks for listening, guys.
That's us.
We love you loads.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Subscribe to this podcast for free on the GoLoud app.